As Oklahoma prepares for the 2026 season, Jay, what is the best position group on the team? We'll discuss that coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It's the Everydayer Club mailbag. And if you want to be a part of the Everydayer Club, make sure you go to lockedonsooners.supercast.com. Again, $5 a month or $50 per year. And you can get into the members only chat and get your questions featured here on our weekly segment on the Everydayer Club mailbag. All right, this one comes from Keaton. He says, what's the best position group on the team?
Man, that's a tough one, especially.
That's a great question.
It's a great question, especially. It's tough, too, especially especially when there's so many options here. Like, I think, let me ask this. Do we want to do this as the three phase, as in D-line, linebacker, secondary? Do we want to do corners, safeties?
I'll let you.
Linebackers, interior, exterior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'll let you answer this one based on kind of the grouping of the phase, if you want to do that defensively. Offensively, it's going to be a little bit more segmented.
Yeah. So, as a fair, I think that's probably the easiest way for us to do it because, like I said, defense, you got so many different pieces and places and stuff. So I'd say phase-wise, the best position group on the team, oh, man, I'd say it's got to be the defensive line. And I say that because you have potentially three guys that can get drafted in the first 2 to 3 rounds of the NFL draft this year, right? Like, there's a lot of hype around David Stone, Jaden Jackson, and Taylor Wan right now. And then you get a breakout year to Daniel Okoye. He may end up moving himself up because he's got all the measurables to do it. I mean, honestly, PJ does as well. We just need to see PJ go out there fully healthy and really show out. Good thing is, PJ's a senior, so he needs to really give you something. And unfortunately, if it doesn't work out, he's not playing football no more. You're not worried about him hitting the portal where everybody's like, oh, I don't want to lose that potential. Ain't got to worry about that. This is last year. He's going to be here to close that out, hopefully, or whatnot. And so, I say defensive line. Just because you got so many NFL dudes that could be high round draft picks, it's got to be the one you give the nod as your best room.
It's hard to argue with the defensive line. I think it's really good. I think that.
Oh, you're going to argue with it, though.
Those 3 guys. Yeah, there's a butt coming. There's definitely a butt coming. But I'm gonna go with wide receiver.
Ooh.
I'm gonna argue wide receiver is Oklahoma's best room. Let me tell you why it's not defensive line. Because you just got those 3 guys. Those 3 guys are very talented. They're very, very good. I need to see that 4th guy step up. I need to see that 5th guy step up. I need to see that because right now it's a lot of question marks with Trent Wilson, Nigel Smith, Danny Okoye, Adepoju Adebawore. We got a lot of question marks over there. I'm gonna go with wide receiver because I know I got 3 guys with NFL potential, and Trell Harris and Isaiah Satania. They're getting drafted next year. That's happening. Parker Livingston's got the size. He's already produced in the SEC as a redshirt freshman with 600 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. And then coming up behind that, man, I cannot wait to see Manny Choice. Cannot wait to see Jazeer Rogers. Cannot wait to see Elijah Thomas. Those guys, they've got NFL draft potential as well. You're deep at wide receiver. It's going to get better and better. You're going to keep stacking with these guys producing. Man, give me wide receiver as the best position group on the team.
But isn't that a similar argument to the defensive line of the question?
All of my starters.
I mean, same on the defensive line, right? We both have 3 guys that we know are it. Now we need to know what the guys look like behind them. That's where the questions, of course, come in. You have Manny Choice. You have Jazeer Rogers. I have Tank Carrington. I have Trent Wilson. Now Nigel Smith. But I can also throw out Danny Okoye out there as well and PJ Adebawore, in which we've seen both of them play, and they gave us some good stuff when they did play. I think that the depth on the defensive line, especially, is the deepest room that we have on the team as well. So, but your argument is definitely heard because we knew that Manny Choice coming in when we landed him as a recruit, that he had big play potential. But then, I mean, you still also got Jaden Petit, who comes in as a NFL bodied freshman, which is pretty terrifying. And it's not, a bunch of baby fat. He actually looks like he's a pretty chiseled dude. All you need to do now is refine his game, and he'll be ready to go. Jasir Rogers played wide receiver his entire career, so he's ready. Elijah Thomas can be there. We just got to get him a little bit more refined. So, I think the depth and the potential in the wide receiver room is also there. But that's where I argue my defensive line, man. I've seen everybody. I just need to see them take the next leap. That's where the question comes in for us is, we've seen them on the field. We've seen them actually produce. Heck, let's see what Wyatt Gilmore becomes. Is he the next Taylor Wine like Brent Venables is trying to tell us? I mean, Taylor Wine's going to walk into SEC Media Days probably and say, hey, the next guy is that Gilmore kid telling you need to watch out for him. And we're going to laugh at him. Like, man, what? Yeah. The Minnesota kid?
Yeah.
Well, come on, man. Then he's going to go out there and he's going to be like, all right, well, shoot. R. Mason Thomas passed the mantle down. I mean, heck, Billy Bowman told us that Peyton Bowen was that next dude. Then we got Peyton Bowen come in here and do that next dude stuff. And you're like, all right, well, I guess we probably should listen to these teammates based upon the way people have shown out in practices. So, but no, I mean, the argument is heard. I think that we've synced more with my defensive line.
You don't like my wide receiver argument. Then I'm going to go with the defensive backfield then.
What?
Because I've got two guys that could potentially win the Thort in Cortland Guillory and Peyton Bowen. I've got Eli Bowen, who's going to get drafted. He's a Jordan Lewis from Michigan, played with the Dallas Cowboys prototype, a little bit shorter guy, but is just a playmaker. He's going to be a player at the NFL level. Even at his size, he's going to be a player. And then Michael Big Time Boom Boganowski, Baba Yaga. He's probably the most anticipated Oklahoma Sooner depth piece stepping into a starter role since it's going to be a long time. Like, when was the last time a guy who wasn't a starter is the one that everybody's talking about? They can't wait to watch him play this year.
Yeah, he's one that everybody wants to see about take everybody's heads off. And
so that defensive backfield, man, and then Omarion Robinson, man, like he got the Brent Venables shout out at SEC Media Days last year. He's done nothing but build upon that. Nico Jandro, one of the lowest rated players in your 2026 recruiting class by the recruiting site standards, is the dude that everybody keeps talking about as well. He's going to have a role on this team, and that's one of my favorite players in this class because he's just fast and physical and just plays football the right way. Can't wait to watch him. But that defensive backfield, man, that's another really strong position group.
Yeah, it is. No, I 100% agree. That was the one I was kind of struggling with for me was, did I want to go with the secondary or the defensive line? Because, I mean, linebacker, we're still young. I mean, it's Kip and the young Pips, basically. We'll see what Cole Sullivan looks like. We'll see what Nesta gives us. The question marks are a lot of question marks are there in that room. But your secondary, which can include even the cheetah when you get into a quote-unquote nickel look, yeah, that room that room and your defensive line being really your strongest, I think is what's going to elevate this defense even more. And I can make an argument. I've made the argument numerous occasions that I believe this defense will be better again than it was even last year. And that's really the premise of my argument. And we'll have to break that down on another show this summer where I can really go into why, because over the years, the defense improved. And the biggest thing was the linebackers ran things. Your defensive line really stuffed the run, and you just kind of had to do what you could to get enough pressure to make sure the passes didn't kill you. But it kind of feels like now the passing game for other teams are going to struggle more because of how good the secondary is and how they've developed, and the defensive line is going to get the pressure. So if anything, this year, we should double our turnovers. That would be huge. Yeah. And I think that's mainly because the defensive line gets out there, get their hands up to go along with the sacks. The secondary is ready for those passes to get deflected, make those catches, and get those interceptions. I mean, your linebackers really just need to fill gaps to make sure that runs don't go anywhere. But if I'm being 100% honest, I don't think they'll need to do as much work on the actual tackling component. They just need to be there because the defensive line is going to recover so fast. They'll be a part of said tackle. So it's going to really help the defense in every phase because of the strength of the defensive line and strength of the secondary. Because we know the secondary is going to come down and hit. You got Baba Yaga. You got Reggie Powers the third. They're like taking people's heads off. I think Man's a head hunter too. So with that being said, secondary is a very good choice too. I don't think that you're wrong on wide receiver. I think wide receiver is going to be fun. My questions still with them is who's behind the first four. Like, 'cause I think Jermichael Carter is going to have a good year.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Oh, and we didn't even mention Mackenzie Elaine.
Yeah, we didn't even really mention Mackenzie Elaine as well, who spent, he spent a year with Arbuckle and Mateers, so he knows them. So yeah, you still got a lot of question marks behind of, okay, who's going to be person that steps up? Less about if the talent's there, it's more about who's going to be that next dude.
And I think a position group that we could be talking about at the end of the year that was the best position group, underrated right now, offensive line. I think they are going to be the most improved position group year over year from what we saw last year to what we're going to see this year. And I think it's going to be a group that reminds everybody where OLU is, and it's at OU. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in and being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to let you know where new episodes drop or when new episodes drop. But if you want ad-free versions of Locked On Sooners, go check out the Everyday Club at lockedonsooners.supercast.com. Again, $5 a month, $50 per year. And you get that members-only invite to the Discord chat. Make sure you follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you then. Boomer
Sooner.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Great weekend. Softball.
Go softball.